This time we are interested to find out the acceleration in a cylindrical coordinate system. So consider here that a circular section through which the fluid enters with a velocity equal to v1 at section 1, and at section 1 we have cross section is circular. Let's say here at section A we have diameter equal to d1. So in this case we can calculate here the discharge through the section AA. This time the velocity is along the axis, so it will be called as axial velocity. That is same as the linear velocity or along the x direction. So we have discharge Q is given as a product of area and velocity, but area and the velocity are always perpendicular. So we have this time A1 into V1, and A1 this time is given as pi by 4 into d1 square into the velocity v1. The same discharge will pass through the circular section, and then we have the outlet passage is consist of the passage between the two circular discs. So in between the two circular discs the fluid will exit. The diameter of this circular disc is d2, and these two discs are separated by distance equal to h. In that case the flow will radially outward, and these are called as radial velocity Vr. So Vr here is called as radial velocity, and the value of radial velocity strongly depends upon the radius of the disc that we are using here. So at every section here, as the radius will change, the radial velocity will change. If we open the section BB, we will get a rectangular section which is same as equal to the length equal to circumference and height equal to h. So if this section we develop, you will get a circumference here which is equal to pi into d2, and this cross section through which the fluid is coming has height equal to h. So through this passage we have a radial velocity Vr which is perpendicular to the given cross section. So all this value represents here the radial velocity Vr, and by law of conservation of mass the Q discharge remain constant for incompressible flow, and we have Q is equal to, this time we have area is equal to pi into d2 into h, and we have Vr. So basically this value of Vr is going to vary from section to section. Suppose you take this circular ring, then we have different circumference. If you take this circular ring, then we have different circumference. So every time here the Vr is going to vary, and if the Vr will going to vary, then there is a radial acceleration taking place. We want to investigate this problem, and we are interested to know how the radial acceleration takes place. From the last equation we can calculate the radial velocity Vr, which is equal to Q divided by pi multiplied by d2h. Our objective is to find out the radial acceleration. Radial acceleration in general form will be given as derivative of Vr with respect to t. So for this one you have to consider the cylindrical coordinate system, and again you have to go by the basic principle that we have done in the Cartesian coordinate. That is, we have ax equal to u into del u by del x plus v into del u by del y plus w into del u by del z plus we have del u by del t. Likewise we have to develop the equation for AR, and then we will calculate a problem based on the radial acceleration. We have just discussed here how to find out acceleration in the case of Cartesian coordinate system. This time we will discuss how to find out acceleration along the three direction in a cylindrical coordinate system, that is r, theta and z. So this one is our conventional axis, this one is our x axis, this one is our y axis, and this one is our z axis. And here I have developed here one cylindrical element in the same Cartesian system. So this axis here is the axis of cylinder, that is called as cylindrical axis. So this one is z axis, and this axis is same as the cylindrical axis. In this xy plane we will consider here one point which has a coordinate of r, theta and z. So the radial distance of this point is r. So in this figure this radial distance is shown of the cylindrical element is r, as well as this cylindrical path we are having is also having a radius equal to r. So this one is same as the radial distance equal to r. as well as this also radial distance, and here we have shown the circular path. With reference to the x-axis, the given point makes an angle in an anti-clockwise sense, that is increasing value of theta. So this one is angle theta. So this reference here we have taken as a x-axis, and with reference to this angle equal to theta. Theta is counterclockwise positive. So this top surface you can visualize is a plane perpendicular to the radial direction. So this plane is perpendicular to radial direction. And along this plane we have the velocity will be the radial velocity Vr. So in the same direction we'll show the radial velocity equal to Vr, and this radial velocity is given by rate of change of radial distance r, that is we have dr by dt. Unit is meter per second. Likewise we'll define the v theta and vz. This element here is a very small element, is subtended angle equal to del theta. You see this plane here, this plane is perpendicular to z direction. So this plane is perpendicular to z direction. So to this plane we have to show the velocity component equal to vz. So this time we'll show the vz value parallel to the z axis. So this is our vz component. And this time the vz is defined as dz by dt. That is again has a unit of meter per second. Now here left here one plane. This plane here is perpendicular to theta direction, that you can visualize. So in this angle the theta is increasing, so this plane is perpendicular to theta direction. So it is better to show me the value of v theta along this direction. I am not able to show here because this is a two-dimensional. I will show here, this one is the direction of v theta to this plane. So I will show this velocity here equal to v theta. This v theta you can call as a circumferential velocity, or is called as transverse velocity. So at this point here we'll draw the tangent to this circular path. So this component here will represent the v theta. You can call v theta as a circumferential or transverse velocity, and is given by r multiplied by omega, and omega is same as r multiplied by d theta by dt. Omega is same as the rate of change of angular displacement with respect to time. So this time we have three components, one is Vr, one is Vz, and one is v theta, and their definitions are given here. This time we have r has a unit of meter, and d theta by dt has a unit of per second. So we'll get meter per second. This element, so first of all we'll calculate here the radial acceleration ar, which is given as dvr by dt. Radial velocity Vr is a function of r, theta, z and time t. And if it is an unsteady flow, then r is also function of time, theta also function of time, and z is also function of time. So same technique we have used in the Cartesian coordinate also. So using the chain rule we can write this total derivative as the partial derivative of Vr with respect to r, that is we have del Vr by del r into r is a function of t only, so we have dr by dt plus we have del Vr by del theta, we have d theta by dt. Now confirm here that each term here is meter per second square. So this dr and dr will cancel out, we have meter per second square. Del theta cancel out, we have meter per second square, plus we have del Vr by del z. So we have del Vr by del z into dz by dt, and one term we are having is, because of unsteady we have to write one more derivative, that equal to del Vr by del t. If the particle is rotating in a circular motion, then we have radial component is also present, and one normal component is also present in acceleration, that will be equal to an. This an is towards the center. Our normal acceleration is given as the tangential component, that is the transverse velocity v square by r, that is transverse velocity square divided by the radius r. That is an we have equal to. As per sign convention, we will take it negative because it is directed towards the center. So it is negative v theta square divided by r. So this extra term we have to add here. So it is minus v theta square divided by r. In this fashion, we can write down the acceleration ar. So negative sign because it is directed towards center. Now we'll dr by dt we can replace as vr, we can replace as v theta by r, and dz by dt we can replace as vz. So we'll do this substitution and we'll generate the radial acceleration, and similar terms we can generate acceleration along the z direction and along the transverse direction or circumferential direction, but we are mainly interested in the radial direction only. So in this case, we have radial acceleration ar will be equal to dr by dt is same as vr, so we have vr into del vr by del t, plus we have d theta by dt, that we can write as v theta by r. So we have v theta divided by r into del vr by del theta, plus we have dz by dt, that equal to vz into del vr by del z, and this term is here is the unsteady part, and we'll write here one more term that is also contributing, that is v theta square divided by r. So all these first four terms represents the convective part, and finally we have unsteady part is del vr by del t, that is the local acceleration in the radial direction. So this part represents the convective acceleration and this part represents the local acceleration in the radial direction. Almost similar term we can generate in the a theta and az term, but we are more important in the radial direction. Suppose we take a special case here where flow is purely radial. In that case, the value of v theta will be equal to 0, value of vz will be equal to 0, only the value of vr will exist, and assume that it is a steady. Since here v theta equal to 0, the second term will vanish, vz equal to 0, this term will also vanish. Because of steady, this term will vanish, and since we have v theta equal to 0, that the transverse component is 0, so this will also vanish. So in that case, we have, in a special case, that is a purely radial flow, we have radial acceleration ar will be vr into del vr by del t. Remember this equation for radial. So in the beginning, we have developed the expression for radial velocity vr at the section BP. At any radius r, this cross section is 2 pi rh. In that case, we can write q equal to radial velocity vr at any radius r into 2 pi rh. So we have vr equal to q divided by 2 pi rh. So this one is example of a pure radial, in which case we have v theta 0, vz 0. So we can very well calculate here this acceleration ar. So for pure radial flow, we have ar equal to vr into del vr by del r. That is, we have q divided by 2 pi rh del r of vr, that is q divided by 2 pi rh. So this time q 2 pi h is constant, that can be taken outside. So we have q square divided by 4 pi square h into 1 by r and the derivative of 1 by r is minus 1 by r square. So we get minus q square divided by 4 pi square s square by r cube. Negative value indicates here we have a deceleration. So at this inner ring here we have a less area. Area will go on increasing. It means that we have deceleration. So this one is simple numerical for pure radial flow. Air flows from a pipe into a region between two parallel circular discs as shown in the figure. So this time we have given the two discs and the air is passed through the axial entry. So we have axial entry here and the discharge is radial. This is purely radial. The fluid velocity in the gap between the disc is closely approximated. In this case V is equal to V0 into capital R divided by lowercase r. So here capital R represents here the radius of the disc. R is the any radius where you are measuring the velocity and the R is measured from the axis. V0 is the fluid velocity at the edge of the disc, so this value is remain constant, whereas this value is a function of radius r. We will call this value as VR value. Determine the acceleration for r equal to 1 and 3 meter if we have V0 equal to 5 meter per second and the radius of the disc is equal to 3 meter. Now clearly here the VR, that is the velocity at any radius r, is a function of r. It means that the VR is variable, therefore the flow is non-uniform and the discharge here is remain constant with respect to time, and therefore our model is a steady flow model. So we have steady state. In that case we have radial acceleration AR is given as VR into derivative of VR with respect to dr. So we have radial acceleration at any distance r is equal to VR into del r of VR, and that is equal to V0 into capital R divided by lowercase r. This time V0 and R is constant, so that can be taken outside. Even we have VR is known to us, that equal to V0 into capital R divided by lowercase r into, from this bracket V0 and R is constant value that can be taken outside, and the derivative of R is minus 1 by r square. Clearly again we are getting here deceleration. Finally we have radial acceleration will be equal to V0 square into r square divided by r cube, but we are having negative value, is meter per second square. So we have AR equal to minus of V0 is equal to 5, so we have 5 square, radius equal to 3, that is 3 square divided by r cube. So we have 25 into 9, that will be equal to 225 divided by r cube. We are interested at r equal to 1, so at r equal to 1 meter, we have radial acceleration will be equal to minus 225 divided by 1 is same as minus 225 meter per second square, and at r equal to 3 meter we have AR equal to minus 225 divided by 3 cube, that equal to minus 8.33 meter per second square. Air flows from a pipe into the region between circular disc, so this one is a disc, and a cone as shown in figure. The fluid velocity in the gap is closely approximated by V equal to V0 r square by r square, where r is the radius of the disc, so this radius is disc radius, and lowercase r is the radial coordinate. So this one is radial coordinate r, which is measured from the axis. So this velocity here is a function of r. So this one is radial velocity r is a function of r. We have purely a radial flow, and at inlet we have the discharge is constant. So we have a non-uniform and steady state. We have given the value of V0 equal to 5, r equal to 2 meter, and we are interested in the radial acceleration at 0.5 meter. So we have radial acceleration is given by AR, which is equal to VR del VR by del R. So we have AR equal to VR is same as V0 into R square by R square lowercase r square del R of VR, which is equal to V0 into R square by R square. This time we have V0 into R square is common. So we have V0 square will R square will be R to the power 4 divided by R square. And the derivative of 1 by R square will be equal to minus 2 divided by R cube. So clearly we are getting negative. So this one is representing the d acceleration again. So we have radial acceleration is V0 square, which is equal to 5 square R to the power 4, which is equal to 2 to the power 4 divided by, this one is negative sign, we have R to the power 5, lowercase r is 0.5 to the power 5 multiplied by 2. Solve this, you will get the radial acceleration, that is minus 25600 meter per second square. The gap between a moving circular plate and a stationary surface is being continuously reduced as the circular plate comes down at a uniform speed towards the bottom stationary surface as shown in figure. So this is a stationary surface and this one is a moving circular plate. It has a radius equal to r and axial velocity equal to v. The space between this is filled with a fluid of gap equal to h that will move radially outward. That is, we have radial flow. The fluid is assumed to be incompressible and inviscid. We are interested in the radial velocity. We are at radius r, and we are also interested in the radial component of acceleration at r equal to capital R. So this time we will take the idea using the isometric view of this figure. So I have developed here the number of stages when the plate is moving in a downward direction. So consider this one is the top plate and the top plate is moving plate here. The bottom plate is fixed plate. The radius is r and the top plate is moving in a vertically downward direction. We have a small circular disc here of radius equal to lowercase r and we are interested for this only. We are interested to calculate the radial acceleration and velocity Vr. This velocity is the axial velocity, is perpendicular to the cross section, which one is circular cross section. Because of this, the flow will be radially outward. So this one is the radial velocity through the circumferential area. That can be shown here in the last figure for the small radius equal to r. So this velocity will be equal to same as equal to v1 is equal to v is equal to v axial. This velocity is perpendicular to the circular cross section. So this area is pi into r square. So from these two we can calculate here the discharge. So we have discharge q equal to v1 into a1, where a1 is a circular cross section. So this time we have q is equal to v into pi r square. So when the disc will move, the fluid will move radially outward and this will be the radial velocity r. So at radius r we'll write lowercase r and at capital R we'll write v suffix capital R. So this velocity is v capital R suffix. So the same discharge will pass through this circumferential area. This has a height equal to h. So circumferential area multiplied by Vr will be the same discharge. So we have q is equal to Vr into 2 pi r into h. So we can equate these two values and we can calculate here the radial velocity at radius equal to r. So we have v into pi r square equal to Vr into 2 pi r into h. So this time pi will be get cancelled. One of the r will get cancelled and we left here with a radial velocity Vr at any radius r equal to axial velocity v into radius r divided by 2 times of h. We got the first answer here. So in the first case, our choice A is correct. That is VR equal to V into R divided by 2h. Next, we want to calculate the acceleration at R equal to capital R. For that one, we have to develop the equation for AR. On the last equation, we can conclude that VR is a function of R and h, where R is the radius and h is the height. So using the chain rule, we'll develop the equation for acceleration AR. So VR is a function of R as well as h, and R is again a function of t, that is time t, and h is also a function of time t. H is variable. Using the chain rule, we have radial acceleration AR will be equal to the total derivative of VR with respect to time. That will be equal to del VR by del R into dr by dt, plus we have del VR by del H into dH by dt. Now here we have to introduce first what is dH by dt. Now this H is changing along the axis, and the rate of change of H is same as V axial. So we can very well replace here dH by dt as the axial velocity, and dr by dt is same as VR. So we have VR equal to dr by dt, and similarly we have dH by dt is same as V axial. So we have V equal to dH by dt. So we have radial acceleration is equal to dr by dt is same as VR into del R of VR. But we have VR is equal to V into R divided by 2h, plus we have dH by dt is same as V into del H of VR, which is again equal to V into R divided by 2h. So radial velocity we can replace as V into R divided by 2h. Here V and 2h is constant term that can be taken outside, so we have V divided by 2h. Derivative of R with respect to R is 1, plus we have V into, this time V into R is a constant term with respect to h. So we have V into R, derivative of 1 by h will be equal to minus of 1 by h square. So we have minus of 1 by h square. 2 is adjusted. So we get V square into R divided by 4h square. Second term is negative, and we have V square R. So minus V square into R divided by 2h square. So we have radial acceleration AR equal to, here V square R by h square is common. So we have V square into R divided by 2 times square. Take common. What is left is 1 by 2 minus 1. 1 by 2 minus 1 is minus 1 by 2. So we have radial acceleration AR will be equal to negative term V square into R divided by 4h. What we are interested, the radial component of acceleration at R equal to capital R. So at R is equal to capital R, we have radial acceleration is A suffix capital R will be equal to minus V square into capital R divided by 4h square. So our choice B is correct. That is V square R by 4h square.